Hello and welcome to my video. My name is Teresa and today I am going to be giving you guys some recommendations for the first row of the Cryptid Creatures Readathon bingo board. Hi guys, like I said, I'm doing row number 1. So here's a good look at it. This is what we're doing today. For this video, I'm just going to be doing cryptid recommendations, like books that will fulfill the cryptid prompts. The next video you will see from me will be the same thing for row 1, but books that fulfill the non-cryptid prompts. I hope that makes sense. Today we're just talking about all of the books that I kind of could find and gather up that would fulfill for cryptids, just in case you want to read a cryptid book. So let's go ahead and get started. Right off the bat, I'm going to tell you all we're going to be talking about Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster, Ahool, and Jackalope. Those will be the ones that I will be discussing in this video. So if you are not planning on reading any of those prompts, you can go ahead and just skip this one and go to the next video. Unless you are curious to know what I have to say, then stick around. Okay, to start off, what might be, quite frankly, the easiest cryptid to find books for is Bigfoot. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do nonfiction books first, and then I will jump into fiction stories. If you are very much like, I want to read a Bigfoot book, but I do not want to read a big book, you can pick up this one. This is Evergreen Ape, The Story of Bigfoot by David Norman Lewis. And this book, you guys, is only 126 pages long. The print is large. It's a tiny little book, so I'm sure you will be able to get through this in no time. This book is basically, our author is taking a closer look at the origins of the Pacific Northwest's Bigfoot, drawing from newspaper reports, local American Indian legends, and stories passed down from settlers in the 1800s. He's exploring true stories that created the monster. So if that sounds interesting to you, this one would work for that prompt. I have another short one. This is actually even shorter, and that is The Secret Life of Bigfoot. This is an adorable little children's picture book that just talks about Bigfoot, gives very, very basic information about Bigfoot because, you know, it's a children's picture book. It is 32 pages long, and that includes the index and stuff like that. So if you have little kids in your life, this could possibly be one that you could read to them and, you know, fulfill a square off the board. I think that would be kind of fun. This is written by Megan Cooley Peterson. If you are looking for something a little bit more scholarly in your nonfiction, you can pick up The Secret History of Bigfoot, Field Notes on a North American Monster by John O'Connor. The author of this book is a journalist and a self-diagnosed skeptic, but he's always been fascinated by Sasquatch. And so he basically goes on a journey throughout the Pacific Northwest, meeting with people and doing some Bigfoot hunting along the way to try and figure out whether or not Bigfoot is true and where this legend comes from. So if that sounds interesting to you, this one will work for that prompt as well. And the last nonfiction Bigfoot book I have to show you guys, trust me, there are so many more. I did make a very extensive cryptid book list on Goodreads that I will link down below. It'll also be on the Discord if you guys are interested. That has all of the cryptid books that I could find. Like, there were so many. So if you're looking for more Bigfoot and like none of these sound appealing to you, check that one out. Same goes with every cryptid I talk about today, because there's a lot of books on that list. But don't take my word for any of them, or even these, because I haven't read these ones either, except for the kids one I've read. So yeah, just don't be like, oh, it sucks, and then blame me, because I haven't read it either. I'm just saying there's a cryptid book. So anyways, next up on the nonfiction, the last one I had to show you, that is nonfiction. That is Abominable Science, The Origins of Yeti, Nessie, and Other Famous Cryptids. Bigfoot is one of the cryptids it talks about in here. This one I have on my cryptid TBR, so if you guys want to know more information about that, you can go watch that video. I won't go in depth on it here, but this one will count for Bigfoot. Okay, let's move on to fiction. Starting off with a very cute little children's book, we have Bigfoot Takes the Field by by Michael Brum, pictures by Jeff Mack. This is book 1 in the Cryptid Club series. This is a series of children's graphic novels that revolve around cryptids. So this one specifically is Bigfoot. I do not know if there is an actual Bigfoot in the book or not. I haven't read it yet, but I definitely will be picking this one up because it's really short, really cute looking, and sounds kind of fun. So if you're looking for something quick and easy to read, this one will count for Bigfoot. Also, I did have someone ask me in the Discord, and I want to make clear to people in case you're not in there, if you're doing the cryptid prompt, it doesn't have to be like the whole story is about the cryptid. It just has to be in the story. So like it doesn't have to be about the cryptid, but as long as the cryptid is a part of the story in some way, shape, or form, you can totally count it. So just want to let you know that it's super simple. Basically, if you think it counts, it counts. If you don't, if you get mad at somebody else for choosing it for that prompt, then don't use it. That's basically how I'm going to be running this. I'm not policing it, so use your own discretion. Now we're going to go into a little bit more of the horror adult side of the Bigfoot world, and that is Devolution by Max Brooks. This is first-hand account of the Rainier Sasquatch Massacre. This was a 5-star prediction when it came out. Unfortunately, I really didn't like the ending that much, but I still own it, which means it was in the 4-star range. I can't remember exactly what I gave this one. This is a really interesting book because it is written as a non-fiction. It's basically written as like a investigative journalist is trying to figure out the story of what happens. And we're also seeing snippets of diary entries. This diary was found at the site, the location of the massacre, and it kind of is giving us the rundown of what's going on during the event, leading up to the event, and shortly after the event, while also, again, following this journalist as he is trying to piece together what happened. There are interviews with people and stuff like that. So a little bit of mixed media in here. This one is definitely a horror. I would say the horror doesn't really start till more towards the end of the book. It does get a bit graphic. So if that's not something that's interesting to you, maybe stay away from this one. But if you're fans of books like Into the Drowning Deep by Mira Grant, then maybe pick this one up because it kind of gives you the same format, same kind of storytelling. Then we have this one, which I just found randomly at my library. Haven't read it, so again, I can't tell you if it's actually a good one or not. This is just called Cryptid. It is by Eric Henez, and it is the lost legacy of Lewis and Clark. I do believe this is another book that is a fiction told as a non-fiction. It's basically saying there was a big cover-up in the Lewis and Clark journey to the Pacific Northwest, and they actually encountered a creature which we would call Bigfoot. And we have a cryptozoologist, a paleontologist, and a Jefferson descendant, so Thomas Jefferson. They basically begin to piece together all of these different stories and things, like historical accounts and things that they can find, and try and figure out what really happened and whether or not there was this massive cover-up to hide something that happened during the Lewis and Clark expedition to the West Coast. Sounds really fun. Sounds really fascinating. The next one I have to talk to you all about is a book that I read many years ago, and that is Monster by Frank Peretti. I'm just going to try and go off what I remember about this book. I know it has to do with a monster in the woods. People, I think, have either been killed or attacked. Campsites have been raided, and there is definitely talk of it being a creature other than a bear or something. People are thinking, oh my gosh, could this be some sort of Bigfoot-like creature? And it gets interesting. It gets really creepy as it goes along, as we figure out what's truly going on here. I know that there's a missing persons case happening at the same time, and I can't remember like who our main character is, but I think they're like a park ranger or something along those lines. Yeah, it gets kind of wild and kind of crazy, but it definitely would fit the Bigfoot prompt. I'm just going to say that. So if you want to check this one out, I do recommend it. For sure, I had a really great time with it. Those are all the Bigfoot books. Let's move on to Loch Ness Monster. For the rest of the cryptids on this board, I will not have nearly as many books to talk about. Again, I think Bigfoot is just super well known. Plus, where I live in the Pacific Northwest, and so Bigfoot is like a part of our culture here. So, you know, maybe if you are from a different country where some of these other cryptids are, you might find more books related to them, or different part of the, you know, US or something. I don't know. Anyways, let's talk about Loch Ness Monster. So we're going to go ahead and do the nonfiction again. That one, the Abominable Science one, will count because it does talk about Nessie, who is the Loch Ness Monster. I have 2 children books to show you all. First off, we have Is It Real? The Loch Ness Monster, and this is by Candace Fleming. This is just a nonfiction children's story all about the Loch Ness Monster, what it could be. This one will count for that, as it does talk about the Loch Ness Monster and, you know, is it real? And if it is, what could it possibly be? The next one I have is The Secret Life of the Loch Ness Monster. Like I said, there are a few in this series that you will be seeing throughout these videos. These are the cutest little books. They're all super short, only like 30 something pages. And, you know, again, they're little kid picture books. This one is written by Benjamin Harper and just goes over facts and information, questions, you know, just your typical children's book, nonfiction about the Loch Ness Monster. Now, I have a couple fiction ones I want to talk about. Book number 2 in the Cryptid Club, which is a Nessie situation. This again is by Michael Brum and Jeff Mack. I know this has to do something with the bathroom because you can, I don't know if you guys can tell, but yeah, like on the back, they're like in the stalls. I don't know if Nessie's like living in the bathroom, in the toilet or something, but this is a children's graphic novel about the Loch Ness Monster. So if you want to, you know, maybe pick up these books and read them in the series, then this one would totally work for that as well. The last one that I'm going to talk about in this video, again, if you want more recs for specifically cryptid creatures, go to the Goodreads page. There's a million of them. Okay, so we have Under Lock and Key. This is by Lana Ferguson. You guys, I'm not a romance reader for one. And if I do read romance, it's clean romance. I do not know if this is clean romance or not. So I'm not putting this out there as like, oh, this is a book you should definitely read, because I have not read it. I do not know. I just saw this at my library and was like, this is kind of silly and kind of, it looks cute. I don't know if it is. I will say there are definitely some extreme romance, like erotica with cryptids out there, which is not my scene, so I'm gonna stay away from that. This one I don't think is that, because from my understanding, he is the Loch Ness Monster, but he can transform into a man. So yeah, we're just gonna leave it with that. It says a woman discovers not all monsters are her enemy. The opposite, in fact, in this paranormal romance by Lana Ferguson. So really don't know much about it other than that I guess our main guy is the Loch Ness Monster. Take that, do with that as you will. Those are the Loch Ness Monster books I'm going to talk about. So for the next square is the Ahul. I have no physical books here to share with you, but I do have a couple on the cryptid list that I'm going to talk about really quickly because I felt bad like skipping this one. 2 of them that I could find, and again, I don't know anything about these other than they're on Goodreads. So we have Cry of the Ahul by Gary Brand. This is a really poor rating, so maybe it's not so great, but it sounds interesting. It says in 1925, a naturalist is summoned to the lush rainforests of Java and basically deforestation is happening, and I guess there is attacks on people, and they're saying it's a monstrous creature. And if you don't know what the Ahul is, it is a basically a giant bat. Yeah, it's like maybe a horror. It doesn't even tell me what it is, but there's that one. And then I also found this children's one that is called Ahul to Zilland. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. A Cute Cryptid Compendium. So it basically teaches kids the alphabet through cryptids. If you can find that, that one would count as well. So because the Ahul is basically considered to be a giant bat, I will accept nonfiction books about bats. If you want to read that, a bat book, and maybe because, you know, it has characteristics, you can learn about bats, and then I will count that as the Ahul because there's really not a whole lot out there on this cryptid. So one bat book that looks really interesting to me is The Secret Lives of Bats: My Adventures in the World's Most Misunderstood Animals. I love bats. I think bats are just so lovely. They're so cute. I just love them. I want bats all around my property because they eat all the bad bugs, you know? Bats are great. This is by Merlin Tuttle. The author is very much a advocate for bats, and they have traveled the world trying to find and protect bats on every continent. And it's just, you know, a book about all different types of species of bats, and I definitely think I'm going to pick this one up if my library has it because it sounds fascinating. So yeah, for the Yahoo, there you go. Any bat related book, I will count for this one as well. And the last one I'm going to be talking about today is The Last Square in the Row, which is Jackalope. I only have two to show you all. Like like I said, some of these cryptids are really, really hard to find books for. So for the Jackalope, we have Project Jackalope. This is a children's chapter book. It might be considered middle grade, but I think it's more children's chapter book. This one is on my TBR. So once again, if you want to know more about this one, check out my TBR video. And the next one I have is book 4. So we skipped book 3. We'll come back to that in a different video. Book 4 in Cryptid Club, and this is You Don't Know Jackalope. So once more, this is just a children's graphic novel, possibly about the jackalope. So if that's interesting to you, like I said, I think there are 4, at least my library carries the first 4 editions. So all 4 of them will count something on the board if you want to read the series. So those are cryptid recommendations for the first row of the bingo board. Again, we have Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster, A Fool, and Jackalope. If any of those books sound interesting to you, or maybe I put some on your radar that you are now curious to look into, comment down below and let me know. If you don't have anything to say, go ahead and leave a little bunny emoji for our beautiful little jackalope. And look forward to more videos. I'm literally posting a video a day with more recommendations because we all know I talk too much, and I'm sure this video itself is already long. And if I was going to add in the prompts into here too, we'd be here all day. So next video will be prompts only, no cryptid books. Video after that, cryptid for second row. Video after that, prompts only for second row, so on and so forth until all of the videos are out. So make sure you're subscribed to my channel so you don't miss those. And my co-host Nala will be doing it. I don't think she's doing it anywhere near as crazy as me. I'm a little obsessed, if you can't tell. But she will be doing a recommendation video soon as well. And when that is out, I will share it on my community tab. It'll be linked in the Discord and all that. But if you're not on Discord, make sure that you check out my community tab, or even better, go subscribe to her so you don't miss it. Thank you so much, you guys, for hanging out with me today and learning about some books that will work for Cryptid Creatures Readathon. I'm so excited for this to start in September, and I can't wait to see all of you there. Happy cryptid hunting, y'all, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!